What's up, everybody? How are you doing? Knowing that probably millions of Diablo 3 um, players all over the world will watch this video, allow me to introduce myself. I am Moses. I have been playing and streaming Diablo 3 in the better part of the last 4 years of my life. That's right. And I wanted to make this video to talk about the state of the game and my general thoughts regarding the last BlizzCon in 2016. Happened just about a month ago. So, the state of Diablo. Well, let's start with the fact that the reason I'm not, there are a lot of reasons why I'm not currently actively playing D3. As I said, about 3.5 years of straight gameplay, streaming on Twitch TV, every day, endless hours of grinding, farming, love the game. We built an amazing community behind it, and just in the past few seasons I felt that something is missing. A lot of things are missing in Diablo 3 and the game has a lot of problems. Of course, in this video I cannot cover everything, simply because it will take too long. So I'm going to try and make this short and really talk about the major topics and the major issues that I found very troubling when I watched the BlizzCon Diablo 3 panel just a couple of weeks back. So, how do I even start? Well, let's start by the fact that the game is not going to change in any way, and it hasn't changed in the last, I guess, since they introduced Kanai's Cube. That kind of allowed you, to play the game in a whole new different way. Bounties had a whole new meaning now. You could do a bunch of stuff. You could grind your end game gear just by, farming bounties and crafting and hoping for good luck, good RNG. So when was that? I mean, season 4 introduced Kanai's Cube, something like that. We're talking about a long period of time. I mean, basically, let's just put things on the table. We've been grinding rifts and bounties since Reaper of Souls came out. We're talking about well over 2 years now. Well over 2 years, and the game does not show any signs that its core, playability, what we do in the game, is about to change. It doesn't even feel like anything is going to happen in the near future, and that is not even in the long future, not even in the long distance. That is very, very saddening. Basically, the major DLC patch that Blizzard are introducing are the Necromancer, whatever. Let's talk about that for a moment. Basically, the Necromancer was a great favorite of the audience, of the community for many, many years playing Diablo 2. So basically, Blizzard just copied whatever whatever the Necromancer was in Diablo 2, and they're trying to revive it into Diablo 3. On its own, I mean, I'm not, a big fan of the Necromancer myself. You guys know I've been playing mostly strictly, mage casters, spellcaster, both in World of Warcraft, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Diablo 1 that I've been streaming and playing. It's basically sorceress, wizard, sorcerer in Diablo 1, and mage in World of Warcraft. So personally, I mean, sure, they're bringing in the Necro, but I'm familiar with the Necro from Diablo 2, and it's not really appealing to me. So, sure, a few people will get what they wanted. On its own, that's, pretty good. But now, let's try and use an analogy here, and I'll give you an example. Imagine what would have happened if after people, in World of Warcraft, grinded for about 2 years the same content in World of Draenor, and and Legion didn't came out. And instead of releasing Legion, they would release just the Demon Hunter. Alright, boys, we got you a new content coming up, the Demon Hunter. You're still gonna keep playing Worlds of Draenor, same way it used to be. You know, with all the furs and all the stuff and the grand and all the territories and all the stuff, all the yeah, go War Spear hype. Only with the Demon Hunter. So that is basically what's going on in Diablo 3 right now. Adding a new class is not adding new content. New content meaning you're going to be doing different things in the game right now. Look at World of Warcraft. They added tremendous amount of new content. I'm talking about new raids, new dungeons, world quests, class hall, the artifact weapon, which has an end game of its own, and it's an entirely different end game when it comes to your gear end game and your gear purposes when you're playing the game. You're always thinking about your eye level, right, in World of Warcraft? But now you have your artifact power and your traits and the entire amazing investment that was made in order to make a separate, different quest line for each class's, each build's own artifact weapon. That is absolutely remarkable. That's absolutely amazing. And you can see the amount of investment, amount of thought process, and amount of resources spent to create all those wonderful things in World of Warcraft. And I mean, the storyline, everything is just so well synchronized, and like you have an amazing feeling when you start playing Legion for the first time. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I was blown away, and I've been playing World of Warcraft pretty much every day for many hours. I just recently started, I picked this game up about 5 months ago, and I gotta tell you, World of Warcraft and Diablo 3, completely heavens and earth. And when you play both of these games, and you understand that Blizzard has such capacity to make a tremendous game, a beautiful game for an entire community to grind daily and to keep interested in, and to watch on Twitch. There's tens of thousands of people watching on a daily basis World of Warcraft. There may be 300 or 400 people watching Diablo 3. And you can tell the difference because, unfortunately, the legacy, the heritage, the name, the franchise of Diablo 3 has lost its, dimmed somewhat, to say the least. And it looks like, well, I believe, I do, that development team of Diablo 3 are doing the best that they can. And, my complaints or, my unsatisfaction is actually towards the upper management, people that make the decisions, the people that, allocate the resources to these games. And you can see that Diablo 3 is hardly even on the priority of Blizzard's upper management. What has happened to this game? It used to be, it's the game that brought Blizzard to become Blizzard, basically. That's the game that made the company what it is. That's the game that created, an entire market share of players that are aware of the name of the brand Blizzard. That's the game that built the company. And it still have a tremendous amount of fans. And it is sad to see what it has become. It is very sad. Now try to imagine the uproar and the rant if after 2 years of World of Draenor, Blizzard would just release the Demon Hunter. We got you a new class, guys. Good luck. So, of course, people would absolutely rage. And in Diablo 3, I don't really hear any kind of, people raging. I don't really hear any kind of anything. And I guess maybe that is why Blizzard thinks that, well, they can treat the game this way, So for me, Diablo 3 has been a big part of my life in the past years. I mean, I've been a Diablo fan since I was pretty much, 20 years ago. I was about 17 or 16, I believe, 15, something like that, when I started playing Diablo 1. And I've only started streaming about 4 years ago, but Diablo has been a part of my life, basically almost every day, gaming, grinding. And it is very sad for me that now there's no new content in the game. And not only that, but the current content is just, it's been done many times. Now, I find myself come to Diablo 2. I come back to Diablo 2 because, as much as I played it, I believe maybe even more than Diablo 3, and I have about 15,000 hours played on Diablo 3. About, I guess, 10,000 hours streamed on Diablo 3. So as much as I've played it so much, I still find it appealing after all these years. And when new ladder resets, I find myself grind for 2 months or 3, just enjoying, the entire experience. A big part of that is, the fact that we still have trading in Diablo 2, and trading and building up your currency and just being able to build an empire out of nothing. You start level 1 character, in a couple of months you just have like an entire crew of characters that just wrecks the game in all the ways that you love. Ubers, end game, you got it all. Trading is a huge part, of the fact that Diablo 3 really does not have any kind of longevity. It comes down to RNG and whether you can craft, get lucky and find that drop. But here you can actually trade. In all action RPGs, really, you can actually trade and build your endgame through building currency and buying the stuff that you can't achieve by, unlucky drops and just shitty RNG. Yeah. And I don't like to do this, but, I'm gonna say it. Let's think for a second about Path of Exile. A company, GGG. I mean, I haven't played too much Path of Exile, maybe 4-5 months. I found it to be a freaking amazing game, but after whatever time, I felt kind of like I don't really have too much of a future in this game as a streamer, from a streamer point of view, but definitely an absolutely awesome game. And you can see that. You can see the viewerships on Twitch. You can see that GGG is like constantly feeding the game with content. Every patch is huge. Everything that comes out, every expansion, they build up so much content, and the game has so much to offer. And if you compare that to D3, I mean, it's something I would love to see in Diablo 3. But you really see that the development team is working with very little resources. They're working with the best they have. I mean, look at this, I'm sorry to say, but poor copy of the Darkening of Tristram event. I mean, what is that? This is basically an insult to the community. It has really nothing that resembles Diablo 1. It is just basically a rift of 14 levels, and basically it's Cathedral and like the same old maps, and it feels like the same old thing, only it's all dark. So they added a little shade of dark, and I mean, it's just very poor. The bosses, sure, okay, you gotta fight, you got the 4 bosses, but I mean, what is that supposed to even be? What's my incentive to play it? I recently, about 2 years ago, I found a mod for Diablo 1, Beelzebub. By the way, I made a video about that. You should absolutely go and check it out. And if you feel nostalgic, they made an amazing Diablo 1 mod with a lot of features from Diablo 2 that you should definitely go and check out if you're feeling nostalgic and you want to try out and experience the original Diablo 1. Just absolutely, it felt like a horror movie. It felt like, you're getting into the dungeon and you're freaking scared. Everything is like so creepy and so eerie, and you're absolutely like terrified going down to the dungeon. You smack a skeleton down, it's just, it feels awesome. And just everything about Diablo 1, I mean, the music, just like everything just feels so good, so authentic, so gothic. And when I look at, the Darkening of Tristram, so-called Diablo 1 built-in dungeon into Diablo 3, all I see is just Blizzard development, Diablo 3 development team, working with the minimum possible that they can afford. I mean, it feels like it feels like a very, very poor excuse of, content. The dungeons are, well, they're just about the same as all the normal maps. They don't really have any Diablo 1 features, um, and it is just, I mean, it's just pretty sad excuse for content. Um, and I mean, yeah. So let's conclude this up, guys, because all time is running short. I would like to say that if you never played Diablo 3 before in your life, you should absolutely buy the game, because it is a fucking awesome game. But be ready, it's going to feel like a one-time experience, because I feel that's what Blizzard caters, the game to be. That's exactly what it feels. The game has no longevity. You'll be playing it for a couple of months, you'll figure it out, and you'll move on to a different game. But these will be a hell of a couple of months. I mean, is it worth the money? Sure. Does it preserve the the heritage, the name, the franchise? Does it respect its predecessors? In some ways, yes, but in other ways, absolutely not. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a big shame to the name, and like I said, if you never played it before, you should definitely try it out. I mean, it's a pretty cool game. There's a lot of stuff to do, but once you're done, you won't be wanting to play it again. Unlike Diablo 2, for example, that people play for years, or even Diablo 1, or even World of Warcraft, that keeps renovating and remaking the game, and just like absolutely awesome content is continued to be streamlined into the game, and you got a happy community. So in hopes that someone at Blizzard will watch this video and realize that you have an entire community of people that have been saying all those things, maybe something will happen in the future. In my opinion, I don't see, I think, I've been saying it a lot also on stream, I don't think, like people told me, Moses, do you think they're going to announce a Diablo 2 remake? Do you think they're going to announce Diablo 3 expansion? Do you think they're going to announce Diablo 4 coming? Well, Diablo 3 is kind of dead, let's be honest. If they are working on some new Diablo-related content, it should definitely be Diablo 4. Because, game engines, lags, I haven't even started touching about these topics. But, yeah, I don't think it's coming. I think that Blizzard consumed everything, squeezed every single drop out of Diablo 3, and it's kind of like just maintaining it, kind of like what they're doing with Diablo 2 right now. It's just being maintained. You got servers working for those who do choose to play it. But when it comes to actual content, I think Blizzard just put it at the very bottom of the priority list, and they're to the point that they're not going to actually make anything happen. And I don't know, maybe some different upper management will happen. Maybe Mike Morheim will retire, and the next manager or whatever will just make some new content and pick up the game and just really show what Diablo 3 can be, and maybe we'll get some hype. But I think we're talking about some really big changes that need to happen in the company for Blizzard to actually do something with D3. I think it's an atrocity. It's an absolute shame that that's what the game has become, and I think that's all I had to say about that. So yeah, I actually have plenty more to say, and you can come to my stream and ask me at Twitch TV Moses _2265, and I'm sorry to leave you with this bleak kind of forecast for the next few years. I really do not believe that anything is going to happen to D3 in the next decade. But yeah, believe me that when the first actual content comes there, if there is going to be anything happening in D3, I'll be the first in line. You know, I'm Diablo 3's biggest fan. You know, I'm Diablo's biggest fan. No one can argue otherwise. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't get hyped over things that are not worth getting hyped for. Is my suggestion. And let us wait for some actual concrete announcements that will probably never come. But let us wait for that instead of looking at four-sided dice uh, and some yeah, rumor making and hype generating you know, stuff that comes out in the community. I wish you guys a very good day and thank you for watching. Moses out.